Hi, my name's Matt Wiltcher. I'm a director at Manny & Daniels. I'm responsible for the company operations. A conflict of interest is a set of circumstances where someone may be influenced in their judgment or where somebody may stand to gain personally from the outcome of a decision. There's lots of different types of conflict of interests that one might consider, but for example, if a grant is being awarded to an organisation and somebody advising or reviewing that grant application has a personal interest with that organisation, that would be a clear conflict of interest. Or if a consultant is providing advice and services to an organisation that's standing to gain from funding from Manny & Daniels, that would be a clear conflict of interest. When considering conflict of interest, there are a few do's and don'ts. The main thing to say is that one should always be open and transparent and declare anything that may even constitute a conflict of interest. Even if you're unsure as to whether it does, it's always best to be open and transparent and try and deal with that. So do be transparent and make sure those things have been covered off from the outset. Conflict of interests are addressed and managed by Manny & Daniels' central operations team. They're responsible for making sure the conflict of interest declarations are completed, and that a manager is responsible for looking at that declaration and making a judgment on whether or not that truly does reflect a conflict of interest and whether that can be managed throughout the contract period. Conflict of interest would then need to be monitored throughout the duration of a contract period. So we would revisit the conflict of interest forms on a periodic basis and check that any mitigations that we put in place are being followed and upheld. Manny & Daniels consultants need to declare any conflict of interest that they think they might have from the outset. So that's part of their pre-contracting questionnaire that they fill in. They'll need to fill out a conflict of interest declaration form and think through if there are any circumstances within the contract that might lead to a conflict of interest that they should declare. Once they've filled in that form, we'll be monitoring how that's being managed, and we'll be putting in place mitigations to try to manage any conflict of interest or decide whether or not the consultant can continue.